In the future, do you see agents going away? Do you see, I mean, we see the big bookstores disappearing. We see the mom and pops, smaller bookstores. I mean, we lost a gay bookstore in West Hollywood last year. We see all of these things shrinking. Do we see the future of queer publishing something that just is going to be viral or internet, and that the whole world of an agent is like something that we won't be talking about in 10 years?
I would have to say probably. You know, I mean, I have an agent now. I didn't have one before.
So the way to go about getting an agent or how one finds an agent is changed.
Well, the thing is, you don't need one. You don't need one to be successful, and that's 15%. That's that you could be putting into your own pocket. I mean, if you're willing to do that work, then and you at least have somebody, and you do, who's an attorney that can look over your contracts. You know, what should you pay an agent for?
Are there good gay publishers out there? Are there good gay publishers and out gay agents?
Absolutely. There's, I mean, if you go to our website, lambdaliterary.org, you'll see a list of dozens of publishers that are either LGBT or very LGBT friendly. So have you seen?
Yes, I queried everyone on that.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
I was curious about your thoughts on branding in terms of authors. And nowadays, I mean, you see a number of gay writers who may not be the best writers, but they branded themselves very successfully. And it's oftentimes more about the personality of the writer than the content of what they've written. I was curious what your thoughts were on that.
Do you have an example?
Well, I think writers kind of decide what they're in it for. From a branding perspective, I've done everything wrong because I always want to do something that's completely different from what I did before. But that's more interesting to me. I'm more interested in the process of creation and discovery. But if somebody is out to, you know, achieve world domination, that act of branding and becoming a predictable commodity, so that you know if you find a, you know, XYZ book, you know what you're going to get, you know what it's going to be like, you know. That is the way to go. It can be extremely valuable if you can build a franchise or build a market for your particular brand. Publicists, in-house publicists at publishing companies are 23 years old. They're paid $18,000 a year, and they've got 100 books to market in a season, and they're completely overwhelmed, and they don't do most of what they say they're going to do.
Thanks. I think with the final comment, one of the things that came up in the discussion that it reminded me of, sometimes when I think about what's happening in the literary world, I think about the organic foods movement. That, you know, there were a few people out there who wanted to get good quality food and wanted to get organics. And remember when, like, there were these obscure stores on the corner, mom and pop stores, and it was the only place you could find, you know, those organic foods. But a movement began, and it was a consumer-driven movement that has led to, okay, I got my issues with Whole Foods, I'll tell you, but I do shop there periodically sometimes. But so it has opened up markets, and we're able to find, you know, more. You can go to Target and buy organic foods there. And I think that with publishing and with literature, I think there's an opportunity for a consumer-driven and reader-driven movement, and for us to connect and thinking in the LGBT community about whose books do we want to see succeed, and what publishing houses would we like to see succeed. And we have an opportunity to connect readers with writers, with booksellers, with publishers, and to be a part of a broader reader literary movement to support each other in the literary community. And it's just a final thought I'd like to leave with, and I'm ready, onward with the reader-driven revolution.
My final comment would be, is actually looking at your product. How interesting is your book? How well does it read? My first book I spent 6 years writing because I didn't know what I was doing. And I was fortunate enough to have a very critical partner who would tell me, this is I don't like this part. But the thing is, there's a great book by Stephen King called On Writing, and I would recommend it. But basically his philosophy is you write it, you rewrite it, you keep rewriting it until you get it perfect. And then you put it away for 3 months and you don't look at it again. When you pull it out of that drawer or when you open up that file on your computer, you'll see what your book needs. And absolutely 100%, if I can impress you with anything, it's make your book good. It doesn't matter if you have a great marketing plan and a wonderful publisher and an agent and this and that and you're doing everything right. If your book sucks, nobody's going to read it.
But that does not mean that all the worthy books, all the really great books, are embraced and taken up and become massive success, which we know. So if you're not having that streak of good luck, it does not mean that you've necessarily written a shitty book. It might mean that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. And I guess the thing that the thought I want to leave with is to don't fear these changes. See them as creative opportunities. Jump in and don't hang on to how it was, because it isn't anymore, and it's not going to be.
And I would just say, if you're passionate about something, and if you have that book in you, and if other people are saying no, 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 and you believe in it, listening to us today, I mean, there are so many options. There are so many new things that you could be doing. It's a lot of work, but if someone's saying no and you're thinking yes, just do it. Just do it yourself. And then and then see what happens from there.